Disclaimer, disclaimer, read all about it.
Gone somewhere and dyed my hair now. Wanna be alone. It's much to bear and you don't care, and I wanna play alone. I got you in my sight. I keep all the words you said to me. I get you on your knees. Rewrite all the things you said that I should be. I'll get you, now you beg me please. Hey.
Hey, everybody. I know there's not very many people in here because, again, the algorithm does not like me and Karen Reed together because there's so many others covering it, and I am way behind on this case when it comes to coverage. However, if you're watching the replay, go ahead and hit that like button and comment on what you think about the coverage so that I can improve future court proceedings that I'm going to be covering. Hi, Queen Olive. Good to see you. I know Mr. Eve is going to pop in soon in a few mods here in a little bit, but I am mind blown, flabbergasted, behooved, beside myself, confused, and all of those things, enraged. We are outraged, as David Yannetti says. This is outrageous. Jen McCabe. Who is Jen McCabe? For those who do not follow this case only whenever I'm covering it or what they hear in the news, Jennifer McCabe Googled "house long to die in the cold" at 2:27 a.m., which was hours before Officer John O'Keefe was discovered on fellow Boston police officer Brian Albert's front lawn. She is also related to the Alberts, her sister Coco, Julie Albert, which is Chris Albert's wife. Chris Albert is the brother of Brian Albert. Kevin Albert is a Canton police officer. So you see, there's just so many connections with this case. Queen Olive says, me too. Yeah, with the testimony today. So this was cross-examination day for Miss McCabe. And it was, I'm still kind of reeling in it. There's so many questions that I have, as if she's even knows who I am. She probably actually does, because I've talked a lot of smack about Miss McCabe on Twitter, which I have blown up on, by the way, in regards to Karen Reed's case. That's where I cover it. I like to cover it there, besides here, because, again, so many people, Turtle Boy, LTL, The Glare, Melanie Little, all of the great players that have covered this case. I'm even going to have to say, unfortunately, Plevin from Yellow Cottage Tales covers this case, and I disagree with him 100% wholeheartedly, but I digress. So I'm still reeling in the testimony, so we're just going to jump into it. I have probably counted about 30 lies. I mean, there was just lie, in my opinion, it was just lie after lie after lie. Every sentence was either a lie or combative to the defense. She did not do herself any favors when she was absolutely caught, in my opinion only, when she was absolutely caught in her web of fuckery. Alan Jackson, you could tell, has been waiting for this moment to question her. And excuse me while I open my Sharpie, my new Sharpie collection that I just bought because I'm one of those color coordinating people when I write things. Anyway, let's just get into it. Let's just jump right into today. Yesterday was a lot of, or not yesterday, excuse me. Friday's testimony with Jen McCabe, that was a lot. Yes, Jeep Girl tomorrow will be epic. Queen Olive, I can't wait until Jackson asks her about that Google search, which I was assuming it would either be at the end to leave the jurors hanging or tomorrow. So I didn't get to watch every single second that Miss McCabe was speaking today, so I might have missed a few things. But for the most part, the bombshells were, I reviewed most of them. My little one graduated kindergarten today, and so that's where I was at the beginning of the trial. So let's just jump into it. I think the best one I was listening to was either CBS Boston or Law and Crime, as well as Emily Baker. I love her. And the reason why I like her is because she does call the defense out when necessary. I get it. It can't always just be a rag on Lally day because it's too easy, first of all. It's really easy to do with the whole what if any sort of blah, blah, blah. I can't stand that. Even the judge was like, move it along, Lally. Move it along. So again, we're going to be watching Jen McCabe's testimony, cross-examination from defense attorney Alan Jackson, who nailed it. Nailed it. So give me just a second to set that up. We're going to get into it. I've got some things that I'm going to compare and contrast from her past testimony, Jen McCabe, as well as others. I've wrote down as much as I can. But you know what? Before we start, actually, and I'm sorry to go a little sideways real quick, I want to go to Twitter because I wanted to update you guys. Maybe not everyone, even the big players who cover this case, is not aware of some of the things that I have been doing on the side that the big boys and girls who cover this case wasn't doing because they didn't really need to. I am a curious person, and I'm very interested in why this alleged Ring doorbell footage that was stated to WBZ Boston News, which is a CBS affiliate, they have not redacted or confirmed the source that said there was Ring doorbell footage that shows the incident or hints at least to the fact. So I was like, that ain't right. Why haven't we seen this yet? This would be case closed, a done deal. She would have needed to take a plea deal if that was the case. Obviously, that is not the case. Wouldn't you agree? So what did I do? You know, I asked about it. So let me scroll down here and put that up. So the original post was somebody, talking about this Ring footage from February 2nd, 2022. There's an article that I'll just pull up. And I know exactly what the title is. Karen Reed, arraignment, $50,000 bail. WBZ. The WBZI team is the one that covered this. And actually, there's video footage as well. I don't think y'all can hear that, can you? Hold on just a second. Let me change my speakers. What about now? There we go.
Prosecutors say that Karen Reed hit Officer John O'Keefe and then left him dead in the snow outside of a Canton home. Then they say she took off from the scene. WBZ's Beth Germano is live for us in Stoughton tonight. And Beth, we learned some stunning new information.
Well, details that still leave many questions. Karen Reed is charged with 2 felonies, manslaughter and leaving the scene of an accident, charges which her attorney says are a reach. But prosecutors say she hit the veteran officer with her vehicle after a night of drinking. Karen Reed left the courthouse after posting bail, charged with hitting her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, with her SUV early Saturday morning and leaving him in a snowbank.
I am disappointed in the...
I don't want to do the long one. I'm just going to go to the article. Sorry, guys. I just want to pull this up for historic value. WVZI team, Karen Reed, Ring doorbell footage. Even, December 14th, 2023, Turtle Boy covered it, of course. They updated it on September 8th, 2023, which is what I was concerned about and why I emailed the I-team, which you'll see in a minute. But because they would have redacted it, or they could have redacted it if it was a lie. And what I'm talking about is this. WBZ TV I-team sources said investigators have video of the incident from a Ring doorbell camera and Reed's car has been impounded. Now, that implies, no matter what it doesn't say, it implies that there is Ring footage showing that she did it. We know that that is not true. They could have, technically they're correct, right? However, they did not specify, nor has anybody gotten any response. So I, did what I do and wanted an article clarification. Because if you say that you have video of the incident, you're talking about John O'Keefe getting hit by Karen Reed's car, which is what she was originally charged for, and then it was upgraded to second-degree murder. So do you have the footage or not? Hey, Mr. Eve, good to see you. So I asked I-team at CBS Boston, do you have clarification? Because there has been no mention or discussion of Ring doorbell footage entered into evidence of the Karen Reed case at this point in time regarding what they're saying of the incident. The incident where she backs up and hits John O'Keefe's car at her home, at John's home, is not the incident in question. That cracked her taillight. Which, by the way, there was no remnants of a cracked taillight that we could see from the footage that was released. So it must mean that it went inside the casing of the taillight. Makes sense to me. Especially if she didn't go so fast when she was backing up and hit John O'Keefe's SUV. Right? So it was probably hanging out in that casing for a hot minute, in my opinion. I have not heard anything back so far. This was yesterday. So I doubt that I'm going to get a response quickly or at all. But just know your girl is on it. Definitely on it. So, also, I wanted to mention that Chloe the dog, if you haven't followed this case or the court hearing, Chloe is a German Shepherd that belonged to Brian Albert and Nicole Albert that they got from a rescue in Texas. Mr. E, that's kind of ironic because that's where we are. I wonder if it was the one in Fort Worth or Dallas. I think he said Dallas, so I think I know exactly which one that is. They have a couple of organizations down here where they rescue dogs that are, they don't really take too kindly to people, or they're just abandoned. But I'm very interested to know which one it is, and I think I do. Anyway, the professional that came on, I forget her name, but she went to UC Davis. It was the dog DNA expert that said there was pig DNA in John's testing, and which is ironic, but no, dog DNA. And it was kind of mentioned on Twitter, that's what dogs chew on is pig ears and all that kind of stuff. So it's probably that, or it could be something else, because the testing that this woman did, it was actually made for food products originally. So anyway, I thought it was interesting that looking at one of the reports from the Massachusetts State Police, I believe, or no, I'm sorry, it was the defense motion. that, they were trying to get the records for Chloe's incidents attacking people and another dog 4 months after John O'Keefe died, was murdered. Okay. And I was reading, there was a reported violent skin piercing incident because everybody was talking about how Chloe didn't have teeth. Chloe was old dog, no teeth, whatever. So, a violent skin piercing incident 4 months after John O'Keefe's death, the defense is asking reader to conclude that the dog in question had a history of attacking human beings and that it was sent away because it was violent toward people. She went to Wisconsin, and Nicole Albert was very upset talking about that. In my opinion, it seemed like she was holding back some tears there on her testimony. But it's very interesting that there's no DNA present. We don't know how those DNA swabs were handled because it took 2 years to get them sent off, right? We don't know how they were handled or if they were mishandled. So Chloe was rehomed after it, quote, went after a neighbor's pet. The defense says, of course, we now know, as with other defense assertions, that was true. As the parties are all now well aware, the Alberts dog attacked not one, but 2 separate human beings and a second dog, in addition to the dog-on-dog attack referenced by Mr. Albert's counsel, which was when, I think this was in January of 2024 when they were trying to get the records and all of that stuff. It was a motion hearing. In addition, both of those people then sought emergency medical attention as a result of their injuries. I would be very interested, everyone, to see if those people who were bitten, have similar marks as John O'Keefe. And I wonder if they would be willing to share that. If they have, or I don't know. But maybe that was why the records were denied in the first place, because that wouldn't look too good if somehow the defense got their hands on comparisons of bite marks from Chloe and then comparing it to John O'Keefe's arm, which to me looks like scratches either from the claw marks. And I believe in my heart that the teeth marks are on his shoulder, or not his shoulder, his elbow. That's just me. I could be wrong. But it would be very interesting to see if that could be obtained or if it does come through in this trial. I don't think so, but just saying. All right, another thing before we get back into Jim McCabe. I noticed that there was a notice of discovery received on the 16th of May this year, which was Thursday. Am I right? Yeah, Thursday. Entered on the event docket for May 17th, which was Friday. So I put it out there because I don't have access to request that information. I didn't know where to go to request the actual motions. And I figured it would take too long anyway. But this lovely person, Rich, posted that it was 2 things that were acquired. Copy of Massachusetts State Police Report number 98, case number 2022112233. I don't know what that is. Doesn't look like Karen Reed's. And associated notes, 4 pages, and then copy of curriculum vitae of Dr. Gary Fowler, who is a pathologist in Boston, and I believe a few other places around Boston that he's worked at. So those 2 things came into evidence as of the 17th. And I'm wondering if the copy of this state police report has anything to do with what was mentioned today in Jen McCabe's cross-examination regarding the meeting between Tully and whoever else it was. I think Allie McCabe was there, Jen McCabe was there, prosecution, Lally was there. Who else was it? Matt McCabe, Brian Albert, and some other folks. All right. I want to know if that report maybe has had something to do with that testimony. I can't be certain yet. Just a thought. Jeep says they said they only sent pieces for testing, probably nothing on the part that they sent. Right, like the clothing that took forever to, I don't even know, did they test the clothing? I don't even know if they got that done. I don't remember, but I know it was 2023 that they were like, look, if this doesn't happen, what are we doing? Right? No worries, Rick. No worries. We haven't gotten into the Jen McCabe testimony, but we're about to. I just wanted to let you guys know that I am on it, trying to figure out and get ahead of the game here as to what happened with this motion. What are the details? I'm not really concerned about the curriculum of Dr. Gary Fowler. I want to know about that state police report. All right. So there's that. And hoping that I-Team WBZ will contact me and let me know, hey, here's the deal about that Ring doorbell footage. Doubt it. Doubt it. All right. Let's get into it, guys. You ready?
You know what? I'll be right back.
All rise, please.
I love her top. I love those kind of patterns. Just wanted to say that. I think Karen Reed dresses just immaculately. That's just me. I get it.
You raise your right hand. You solemnly swear the evidence you're going to be recorded during the case and the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do. Good morning. All right, Mr. Jackson, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. McCabe, family is important to you, is it not?
Yes.
As a matter of fact, it's probably fair to say that family is one of the most important things in your life.
Yes.
You indicated on Friday that you know John O'Keefe, or you knew John O'Keefe, and you considered him a friend.
Yes.
You also indicated that you know Ms. Reed, and at some point you considered her a friend.
Yes.
But clearly, John O'Keefe was not family, was he?
No.
He was not a McCabe, correct?
No.
He was not an Albert.
No.
Karen Reed is not family, correct?
Correct.
Not a McCabe.
No.
She's not an Albert.
No.
Ms. McCabe, when you were at Waterfall on the evening of the 28th, going into the early morning hours of the 29th, you spent some time with John O'Keefe and Karen Reed.
Correct.
You didn't see any tension between the two of them at the time?
No.
Matter of fact, they seemed like a normal couple to you?
I didn't see them interact much.
They were both engaging with you, correct?
I had separate conversations with them.
So John O'Keefe, we've seen from several videos, I'm not going to play the video, John O'Keefe was situated for the most part over in that corner as the camera is looking, the right corner of the bar, along with you, the Keithes's, I think Matt McCabe was over there as well, correct?
I can't be sure, but I know I spoke to Karen in that corner.
And certainly you saw nothing.
So what's really important to remember is the Keithis testimony, which is the Greek couple who was at the bar. I can't remember his name, but Matt Keithis, the dude, was watching Albert and Brian Higgins grab ass each other, play fight, if you will. And then Nicole was around Karen and John talking to them. And she was her back was kind of facing Brian Higgins and Albert-ish and looking towards John and Karen. So remember that Miss Keith said that when they were leaving, Jen McCabe said, "You're coming with me. It's a surprise." Remember that. That's important because Jen McCabe totally denies that or kind of works around that, which is very important because why is she trying to get Karen Reed away from John? right? That's the thought.
To suggest that there was any tension or discord between and among those individuals, certainly between Ms. Reed and Mr. O'Keefe, correct?
Correct.
When you left Fairview, were you among the first to leave or among the last to leave?
I left with, there was 4 of us that left total. It was
Which were?
myself, my husband Matt, Julie Nagel, and Sarah Levinson.
When you walked out, Karina Kolkithis was close by, close in town, correct?
Oh, wait, are you talking about leaving the waterfall?
The waterfall.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was confused. I was talking about Fairview. Leaving the waterfall?
Correct.
Yes, we were one of the last to leave.
All right. And Ms. Karina Kolkithis was sort of in tow right with you as you were walking out, correct?
Yes,
And Karen Reed, my client, was also heading that direction as well, correct?
yes,
And you said something to Ms. Reed, did you not? As you walked out.
we were in a conversation, yes.
Did you say specifically, you're coming with me to Karen?
No,
You didn't say that.
not exactly those words.
What exactly were the words that you used?
I said, why don't you come with me?
And you even waited outside in what was ultimately freezing cold temperatures for Ms. Reed, correct?
Yes.
If you could take a look, Your Honor, with court's permission, Exhibit 53, I'd like.
So of course I'm like, show the footage. Show that shitty footage of outside where the flag's kind of blowing in the wind and you can't really see much. But you can see Jen kind of like a little defeated on the fact that she couldn't get Jen to come into the car with her. She was kind of like shrugging, like, you'll see it in just a second. But thank God, Alan Jackson played this. It's important.
I'd like to play about maybe a 15-second clip from that.
Okay.
Actually, it's a little bit longer than that. It may be a minute. Can we pause this, Mr. Biggs? For the record, Your Honor, this is about runtime 12:10 and 17 seconds or so. If you could move that up, Mr. Biggs, to 12:10 and about 45 seconds. That's close enough. Ms. McCabe, do you recognize what's depicted in this portion of the video?
I see a car. It's kind of hard to see. I don't know what that thing on the white thing is.
Okay, let's go ahead and play it and let's see if you recognize any of this. Pause, please. Oh, that's a terrible place to pause. A little further. It's also not super clear. Can you see a person in that video?
From where I'm sitting, no.
It's a little tough.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and play it forward. Well, actually, we can enhance that just a little bit. Did you see a person in the background right there?
Honestly, I can't make out what that is.
Let's play it forward and see if this helps. Okay. Now do you see a person?
Yes,
The lighting is terrible. I apologize. Not my video. Do you know who that person is?
I don't know.
That's you, isn't it?
I can't tell from that picture if that's me.
Okay, well, let's maybe play it a little bit further forward. Awesome. Now, with a
Okay, so John O'Keefe exits at 12:11, right? And I was thinking about it. What's important about this in regards to the investigation side, which is being questioned, right? That's the whole thing, is this whole investigation was shoddy, not to mention the connections involved with the investigation and outside of the investigation, how it intertwines, all of that good stuff. But I remember that there was, I think Massachusetts State Police actually coordinated John's movements at one point by going to 34 Fairview, using that geofencing data, and then mapping it. Okay? I'm going to pull it up here in just a second. Let's just watch this footage, and then I'll pull it up after Jen McCabe spews her, whatever you want to call it.
the flag out of the way, do you recognize anybody in the foreground down at the bottom right?
That looks to be John.
Mr. O'Keefe?
Yes,
Do you see someone to his right?
I do, yes.
And who's that person?
I cannot make it out in the photo.
Okay, let's go ahead and play it forward. You see the person with the sort of white shoes just above the car.
Yes.
Does that appear to be you?
I can't make that out that it's me, but I know I was there, and I know I spoke with them.
Okay, so you do recall walking outside and sort of waiting and hovering in about that area, correct?
I was talking with them.
Okay. Does it appear that you're talking with them in
No.
this frame?
That looks like they've walked away.
Right. As a matter of fact, it looked like they walked away without talking to you outside, correct?
Well, do you have video of moments before that when I was standing talking to them?
Well, see, this is the point where I get to ask the questions and you get to answer. So I'm
Okay.
asking you, do you see yourself standing in the parking lot after John and the person to his right had walked away?
Yes.
Okay.
Sassy little
Let's
bitch.
wait for just a few more seconds. Go ahead and pause. And what do you appear to be doing at that point?
Walking to my car.
Okay, so you turned around and left after Mr. O'Keefe and the person to his right walked away, correct?
Correct.
As you sit here, even though the video leaves a little to be desired, you know that John O'Keefe left with Karen, correct?
Yes,
So the person to his right, the more petite person with long hair, that would be Karen.
I would assume.
Okay, so you waited out in the parking lot for a few minutes after you said or joked, "You're coming with me," or something like that, correct?
I wouldn't, no, I was speaking to them, and then I walked to my car.
You didn't say to Mr. O'Keefe, "You're coming with me." You said to Karen Reed, "You're coming with me," or something to that effect, correct?
Mr. O'Keefe was not outside when I said to Karen, "You're coming with me." I told Karen, "You're coming with me," because John was still in the bar with Matt.
So you asked Karen to come with you in.
Did you see Karen say, "Get it right? Get it right"? Because this is what happened. So she's nodding her head. So that makes me feel like they're in agreement there that John was not outside yet, which Alan Jackson isn't dumb. He already knows the answer to the question he's asking. I promise you that. Okay, I've seen his trial with Phil Proctor. So don't think that he doesn't know the answer already. So I would agree that they both confirmed what was just said. John O'Keefe was not out there when Jen McCabe tells Karen, "You're coming with me." Why? You have to ask yourself, like, why? For someone you're not really that close to, John, of course, but Karen, the outsider, who thinks these people think she's batshit crazy and telling her to shut up during this whole ordeal. I mean, just rude as fuck to her. Why would they want her to come with them? They came together. So I'm just confused on that. Gives me a little pause, and I hope the jury would think that too.
Your car
Yes,
to give her a ride,
yes,
separate from John O'Keefe.
yes. I figured he could go with Matt because they were still in the bar.
Was there a reason why you wanted to separate Miss Reed from Mr. O'Keefe at that moment?
No,
Why not just walk to your car with Matt and go where you're going to go?
Matt was still inside.
So you thought it was important enough to make the statement, "You're coming with me," or something to that effect, to my client, to separate her from John O'Keefe, even though your testimony is John O'Keefe was just inside the bar.
Objection.
Sustained as to that form. Ask it differently.
Sure. Did you believe it was important at that point to ask Miss Reed to come with you, which would separate her from John O'Keefe?
There was never any idea of separating them.
Except for the fact the idea was, "You're coming with me," not "you two are coming with me," correct?
Incorrect.
By definition, if she came with you, you'd be separating her from John, wouldn't you?
We were standing outside
My question
talking.
would be answered yes or no. By definition.
So obviously, if you've watched this, you will know that Jen McCabe is a control freak. Obviously, the narrative stems from Jen McCabe. Everything that she says has been basically part of her indictments, both of them. I mean, in regards to manslaughter and then upgraded to second-degree murder, which I'm still trying to figure out how the hell and what evidence came from that upcharge. I have a feeling I know exactly why it happened as a retaliatory measure when the district attorney's office got involved. That's exactly what I think happened. It was a retaliation against her. But there is no reason for Jen McCabe to act this way. It really is off-putting to the jury. I guarantee you that. But she really does think that she's getting ahead of this. And her attitude gets worse. So much worse.
Definition, your statement to her, you come with me, would separate her from John.
It would not, because we were all going back to Fairview Road.
But not at the same time, ma'am. Correct? Your idea is to bring Karen with you, separate and apart from John.
We were waiting for John to come out, and I said, why don't you just come with me? It was innocent.
I'm not asking for your explanation. You'll get to that with Mr. Loudon. I'm asking.
Why do you say, and I know she's watching, and I'm almost positive that either her or somebody that she knows very well in relation to her is on Twitter talking all the shit. All of it. I have an idea. I'm not going to say it here. But you know she's watching. And her defensiveness is directly related to what people are saying that the defense has done, and exposed and all of those things. So I get why she's combative, and she's wanting to get ahead of what Alan Jackson is obviously trying to do, which is implicate her in the cover-up of the third-party culprit defense that they're using. It's not a secret. But the jury obviously isn't supposed to know all of the details of that, but we do out here in the streets, ones that are invested in the case. She's trying to get ahead of it. But what it really does is make her look very suspicious and very defensive as a human being when we see somebody get all up in arms about some basic questions. You're sus. You look sus. That's just my opinion.
Asking for a yes or no question, or yes or no answer. By definition, your invitation would separate Karen from John, would it not?
Objection.
Right over.
Sustained. Move on.
Would it or would it not separate John and Karen for the ride over?
Objection. Sustained.
Now, when you arrived at Fairview, some folks were already there, correct?
Yes.
Who was already there?
Brian Higgins, Brian Albert, Nicole Albert, Caitlin Albert, Julie Nagel, Sarah Levinson, and Brian Albert Jr.
And then you arrived, as we saw, you walked through the parking lot, got in your car, you arrived, I presume, with your husband, Matt McCabe.
Yes, correct.
I want to ask a question about Mr. Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
You testified on Friday that you saw his vehicle when you got to the scene, correct?
Yes.
And you said that it was pulled up a little bit in front of the mailbox, correct?
Yes.
Can we have Exhibit 66 with the court's permission, please?
Okay.
This is a digital model of the location. Do you recognize this?
Yes.
Does it appear to be a relative scale model of 34 Fairview?
Yes.
This would be the front door, correct?
Yes.
And where's the mailbox? If you can point to it with a laser pointer. Okay, so you're pointing to an area just in front of a car that's in the driveway, correct?
Yes.
And then the driveway's to the right,
Yes.
and then along this line is the front lawn area and property line of 34 Fairview, correct?
Yes.
You indicated that that Jeep was just a little bit in front of the mailbox, meaning about there, correct?
Yes.
And the rear end of that Jeep would be butting up against the driveway,
Yes.
or at least the line of the driveway, correct?
Yes.
That's quite a bit of detail about where that Jeep was. Would you agree?
No, because I drove down the street and I took a left into the driveway and there was a Jeep there.
Okay. What I'm asking is, you didn't just say, your memory is not just somewhere in front of a house. It's literally right in front of the mailbox, the front end of it, adjoining the line of the driveway, correct?
Yes.
That detail obviously stuck out in your mind.
It did, because I was wondering whose Jeep it was.
Did you discuss that detail with your husband at any point?
Not sure.
You're not sure? Why not?
I'm not sure if I said, whose Jeep is that?
No, I don't mean then. I mean between then and now. Have you and Mr. McCabe ever discussed where that Jeep was, or your memories of where that Jeep was?
Possibly.
You're aware that he put the Jeep in the exact same place that you did.
Objection.
Are you aware of that?
I am. Oh, wait, no. Excuse me. Repeat the question?
You're aware that he puts the Jeep in the exact same spot you just put the Jeep, right in front of that mailbox, right?
I know he knows where the Jeep was. I'm not aware what he said in here.
Does he know where the Jeep?
But girl, later on we're going to hear about the group text messages. Okay, between Matt, Brian, and her, and Coco, Nicole Albert. Sit down. Sit all the way down, Jen.
Was because you told him what to say about the Jeep?
Absolutely not. It's because we drove together in the car, and I asked. I possibly could have asked.
One at a time, please, ma'am.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on your words. I thought you.
That's okay. You can continue.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I don't think we got your answer, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Madam Court Reporter was asking for your answer.
Bitch. You could go ahead. Because this is my courtroom. If I were the judge seeing this, I'd have been like, Miss Ma'am, you need to calm down. You need to calm down. Do you need a drink of water? What do you need? No, we're not doing that.
Can you repeat your answer?
To the question of did he know where the Jeep was?
Whether or not you told him where the Jeep was.
I did not need to tell Matt where the Jeep was. He knew because we were in the car together.
But you two discussed it.
When are you asking?
At any time between January 29th and today.
I'm sure we have, yes.
You were also interviewed by Trooper Proctor on January 29th, 2022, correct?
Yes.
And you were asked a series of open-ended questions. What did you see? And where did you see it? Correct?
Yes.
Have we put any words in your mouth?
No.
Nobody told you what to say at that time.
No.
And you told Trooper Proctor that when you arrived at the scene, after you got there, you, quote, first observed the vehicle, meaning Miss Reed's SUV, parked on the street by the driveway facing the direction of Chapman. Correct?
Do you have something I can look at to refresh my memory?
Sure. Do you not have a memory of exactly what you told Trooper Proctor?
Well, I know what I'm.
Just yes or no? You need your memory refreshed?
I would like to see what the report says, please.
Permission? Yes. Thank you. Paragraph 3. This is the face page. You'll review that, especially the highlighted portion. Let me know after you've reviewed it. Just read it to yourself. Did you have that? Does that refresh your recollection?
Yes, I know I told.
I'm asking you. I'm so sorry to do this. I don't mean to be rude. I'm just asking you. Does that or does that not refresh your recollection?
Regarding?
What you said to Trooper Proctor on the 29th.
Well, I know what I said to Proctor Trooper on the 29th.
Okay. I have to do it this way. It's court rules. Does that help you with your recollection of what you told Trooper Proctor?
I didn't tell I told Trooper Proctor the car was outside when I looked at the front door and was straight outside.
Okay. I can't quite.
Okay, so Matt McCabe sits there and says that he sees either through the glass window, the glass door, or the front door, or through the front door, and I believe a window, but he sees an SUV car pull up. All of these people see her SUV pull up. Okay, Brian Higgins' Jeep has been testified that it is by the mailbox in front of the house. Okay, so that would mean that she would have to pull around Brian Higgins' Jeep and then kind of go inward and then, travel down to that road where John O'Keefe was found later. How many people were looking outside in the same areas where they scrunched up like little sardines? Like, how many people can look and see her SUV and not see John exit, which she states he did on the 911 call because Karen Reed told her? How does that work? Because I remember partying and having people over, noises going on, conversations going on. Everybody did the same thing. It just blows my mind that everybody was looking. Unless somebody pinpointed it out, which I doubt. How did everybody see her car, her SUV? Because it didn't happen.
Get the answer I'm looking for. The court is going to require me to ask this question again. Does that refresh your recollection, yes or no, as to what you told Trooper Proctor? Yes.
I did not say this to Trooper Proctor, no.
It doesn't help you.
No.
Okay. May I approach?
Yes.
Thank you. So you did speak to Trooper Proctor on the 29th, correct?
Correct.
All right. And Trooper Proctor asked you some very specific questions about where things were, correct?
Correct.
So it seems like Trooper Proctor, a lot of people are saying that I know what I told him and that's what I said, and what is written is not what was said. So they're alluding to the fact that whatever they did say, Trooper Proctor fudged it purposefully. But aren't they all kind of on the same team, the McAlberts and Proctors? Right? So what was the end game there? They didn't really... The truth always sets you free, right? You're never going to be able to cover up every little thing. And maybe somebody was confused on what the other was trying to say. Let's change this. Maybe, potentially, perhaps. That's what I think. They're just not smart enough to pull this little cover up off.
Focused on Miss Reed's SUV, didn't he? Asked you questions about where Miss Reed's SUV
If you
was.
can show me in the report.
Just read it.
So just off of what I just read, is that what you're going off of? Yes?
I'm asking for your memory. You're testifying.
Yes, so my memory is exactly where the car was.
Hold on. So it's very important that both of you, one person at a time, speaks.
Okay.
Madam Court Reporter has to do what you're both saying, and she can't do it simultaneously. So the best way to do that is, Ms. McCabe, just let counsel ask the question,
Okay.
and then you answer. And if it takes a lot more time than we expect it to take, it does. Okay, so just
Thanks.
go ahead, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll slow it down. Did you talk to Trooper Proctor about where the SUV was?
Yes.
Thank you. And he asked you questions about where it was situated outside, correct?
Yes.
And you told him that you first observed it parked on the street by the driveway facing the direction of Chapman, correct?
I told him that when I looked out the front door, the car was straight ahead. And yes, it was facing up Chapman.
But you left out a little part by the driveway, correct?
That could have been his interpretation or an error on his part.
I see. So Trooper Proctor is wrong about what you said.
Objection.
I'll let him have it.
And that's exactly what the defense is trying to get these witnesses to clarify, because Trooper Proctor is probably going to be on the stand soon, and he's going to have to explain what the witnesses are saying about their testimony being erroneous, the conflicting statements. This is exactly what reasonable doubt is. This is what that creates in a jury's mind. So the defense is doing an amazing job at this, creating doubt that everybody is on the same page. The truth is the truth. What you say should not change much. Period. Especially if you are the investigator, the lead investigator, you should be saying exactly what they say and record the shit. But they didn't do that, did they? They didn't record the interviews.
Do you think he's wrong about what you said?
I 100% said it was straight out the front door.
Okay, next question, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. And during the course of that conversation, you never once, Ms. McCabe, not once, mentioned a several-ton Jeep with a snowplow attached to it, did you?
I'm not sure if I did or not.
Let's take another look at the report. Would that refresh your recollection to see the report?
Objection.
Do you think that will help you?
I'll take a look at it.
Okay.
May I?
Yes.
Direct your attention once again to paragraph 3. You have an opportunity to review.
I have, yeah.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
She didn't even look at it. Girl, bye.
Of your interview, correct?
Correct.
That interview was taken on January 29th, correct?
Correct.
That interview was taken just a few hours, not days or weeks, hours after the events in question, correct?
Correct.
And you were asked what you saw, what you observed in front of 34 Fairview on that morning, correct? I'm sorry, the night before, correct?
He asked specific questions about Miss Reed's vehicle.
Okay. And when you said where you remember Miss Reed's vehicle being, you placed it in the exact spot where you're now saying there was a Jeep with a snowplow on it, correct?
Incorrect. I never placed Miss Reed's car in the spot where Mr. Higgins' vehicle was.
So as Trooper Proctor was taking notes about what you were saying, he just got it wrong.
You'd have to ask Trooper Proctor.
I will. And you never mentioned, according to that
Boom, just like I said.
report, not one word about a Jeep, right?
I may never have been asked about a Jeep.
So if you weren't asked about a Jeep, you also weren't asked about a Nissan Altima. Mention that?
No.
Right. Because what he asked you was, what did you observe in front of the house? Ma'am, that's what he asked you, wasn't it?
No.
And you said, I observed her car by the mailbox.
No.
And you never mentioned the Jeep, did you?
You are not portraying what the conversation was.
Did you or did you not mention the Jeep sitting on that, right by that driveway, Trooper Proctor? Yes or no?
It's not in the report. I don't recall.
So then that means no, I did not. So why is Brian Higgins and Colin Albert being shied away from being known about and their vehicles? Right? I'd be very interested to see Brian Higgins' data points and where he was moving, and if maybe Brian Higgins was the one that, in fact, would know more about Colin's whereabouts. How about that? Right? Because I think there's more to Allie McCabe's story about taking Colin away that night, picking him up with that fake-ass text. Because, think about it. The fake text between Allie and Colin, it's obviously fake. Why would you need a fake text? Well, because you're making up the fact that you were picked up by her, or the times were not accurate. So who met up with you, Allie McCabe? Or who did you meet up with later? Going to the high school a few times. Who does that? Who goes to a high school? For shits and giggles? Because your daddy, Chris, and your mama, Julie, said that you were back by 12:20 or something like that? 12:15? La. What was it, 12:30 or something like that? 12:41. Whatever. Well, that still puts you in the vicinity of John O'Keefe. So you're not cleared on that. Why were you running the roads? That's what I want to know. And I guarantee you that TUI report is going to show everything. Everything. They're already showing the group text between their little posse. This is just the beginning.
All if he asked me about a Jeep.
Now, following the events of January 28th, 29th, you spoke extensively to Chris and Julie Albert, correct?
What do you mean by extensively?
Did you speak at all?
Yes, we did.
Between then and now, to Chris and Julie Albert.
Do I speak to Chris and Julie Albert
Have you spoken to them about these events between then and now?
about this case? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, Ms. McCabe, I'm asking about this case.
Wow, Jen. You're showing your ass. I mean, in Texas, you behave like this on the stand, the judge is going to tell you, cool it. Now. Not tomorrow, not after breakfast, now. So, I don't know how Massachusetts works. Obviously not very well in Norfolk County. This bitch is unhinged. She's losing it. She's losing control, and that's what she needs help with. She's losing control because she was I believe, the ringleader of timelines. You'll hear about the timeline here in a minute. On this channel, timelines are key. Timelines, getting that nailed down as soon as possible. Investigators need that to solve the crime, or at least have a basis. Without a timeline, it's shit. Honest to God. In any investigation, no matter what it is. You'll hear what she tells the group chat about that timeline and Carrie Roberts, but she's losing her credibility because she knows where Alan Jackson's headed.
Of course, I speak to them all the time about the vicious harassment we are all receiving.
Okay, that wasn't my question. My question was, did you talk to them about this case, Ms. McCabe?
Yes.
I realize you want to give additional answers in the editorial. I'm asking you very specific questions.
Objection.
Okay, so objection as to the form. We've talked about this at sidebar, Mr. Jackson.
You've talked to them about the details of that night, correct? The 28th going into the morning of the 29th?
Yes.
You've talked to them about what happened at the bar, correct?
We've spoke about how we were all at the bar and Karen and John came in.
Is that yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. You've spoken to them about your memory of what happened at the house at 34 Fairview that night, correct?
Yes.
You've spoken to them about who was at the bar, not just what happened, but who was there, correct?
Correct.
You talked to them about the timing of the night, correct?
I don't think specifically, no.
When people came to the bar, when they left, when people got to Fairview, when they left Fairview, things of that nature.
Well, they were at the bar, so they know who was there and when they left.
I didn't ask if you know what they know. I'm asking if you've ever spoken to them about these issues. Yes or no?
I can't be sure if we've spoken about the timeline.
And you've talked to them about when they got there.
Boom. Timeline. I knew that was coming up. And he nailed her right there. People, I don't think, realize that he nailed her ass. Because it's going to come up later on about that timeline, and she's going to try to play it off well. I was in a traumatic situation. It was chaotic. She was screaming. We were just trying to find out what happened to our friend who was found dead, right? Well, that would be fine and understandable if you didn't say exactly what you said and lie about you overhearing Carrie Roberts' testimony or interview. Well, we were just eating dinner. You'll hear it. Bunch of malarkey.
And when they left.
I have no idea when they arrived at the waterfall.
Once again, Ms. McCabe, that's not what my question was. Do you understand my question? Have you spoken to them about their memory of that night and when they came and left?
They have not shared with me when they got there or when they left.
In the 2 years or 2.5 years since this event, you've had extensive conversations with your friends and family about this circumstance, correct? That's
Correct. Yes.
You've told them your observations of your story, correct?
Correct.
Your observations of the night,
Correct.
and they told you their observations of the night, correct?
Correct.
So y'all have compared and contrasted your perspectives of what happened that night, correct?
We've tried to figure out what happened to John, our friend.
And you've talked to them
Okay, so you're trying to do what investigators do. Try to piece together what happened, what time it happened, but why not ask Karen Reed, the one who saw John, the one that was with him on the way to your sister's house? Why was Karen Reed not a part of that? Even if she said, could I have hit him? Did I hit him? Or hell, even if she did say, I hit him. Doesn't matter. Wouldn't you want to speak to the person that saw him exit the vehicle? Well, of course not, because she's the one that you're trying to use the timeline against, right? That's why Jen McCabe called the sergeant back to tell him about hearing I hit him, and the paramedics did too. Katie McLaughlin, which she perjured herself on the stand lying about her relationship with Brian, or Caitlin Albert, excuse me. Oh, we're more of an acquaintance when there's over 20-something photos of her hugging or hanging out with her and other people. So sit down, Miss Katie. You're lying.
extensively about your observations and what your story or your version is. Is that right?
To be honest, not extensively. Speaking about it is very painful and difficult.
What does extensively mean? More than twice?
Well, you tell me.
I'm asking the questions, Ms. McCabe. That's how this works.
I understand.
You tell me. Ma'am, this is a hostile witness. Talk to her, please.
But extensively would mean almost every day.
Do you talk to them almost every day?
I do, but not about the case.
Do subjects about this case come up every day?
The harassment of the case does, yes.
What about the specific facts of the case? Ms.
No,
McCabe?
it's the facts aren't spoken as much as the vicious harassment is spoken about.
Understood. So you've told them your version of the events, correct? And they've told you their version of the events.
Correct.
And remind me, Chris and Julie Albert are, in fact, Colleen's parents.
Correct.
At some point, you became aware that your daughter.
Did you see her look over to the jury box? Or not the jury box, I'm sorry, the family of John O'Keefe and others. Did you see her look? Let's go back.
Albert are, in fact, Colleen's parents.
Correct.
At some point, you became aware that
Well, what the hell was that? I'm sorry. I need to slow it down. Slow it down. I'm really just trying to understand what the fuck that was.
Every day.
do you talk to them almost every day?
I do, but not about the case.
Do subjects about this case come up every day?
The harassment of the case does, yes.
What about the specific facts of the case? Ms.
No,
McCabe?
it's the facts aren't spoken as much as the vicious harassment is spoken about.
Understood. So you've told them your version of the events, correct? And they've told you their version of the events.
Correct.
And remind me, Chris and Julie Albert are, in fact, Colleen's parents.
Correct.
At some point, you became aware that
Weird. And you're looking at the jury now? Was that your little cue to don't forget to Amber Heard it and look at the jury with your pitiful cow doe eyes? Moo moo. Yeah. You know who she reminds me of? Does anybody remember that 2005 fake kidnap abduction case from Arizona? I can't remember her name. I think it was Denise something. And her eyes were really big because I think she struggled with or suffered from one of those hypothyroidism diseases. Her eyes were real big. She looks just like that woman. I'll have to look it up.
your daughter, Allie, was involved in this matter to some extent, correct?
Yes.
You became aware that there was an extraction of your phone that revealed some data about her whereabouts.
That's not how I became aware now.
Like 360?
Yes, I know what that is.
Okay, that's what I'm asking about. You became aware that you know your phone was extracted, correct?
I willingly handed over my phone.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
You know that your phone was extracted.
She didn't get her ass handed to her, dragged to her in PE.
Yes, I handed it over.
And you know that your daughter's whereabouts were revealed based on data on that phone, correct?
That is not how I became aware of my daughter's whereabouts.
You testified at the state grand jury, questioning by Mr. Lally, correct?
Yes.
You were asked about the Life 360.
Yes.
You answered those questions very fluidly.
Yes.
Yes, I know what Life 360 is. I use it all the time. It's an app, etc.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's go over that for a second. You admitted that it works as a, quote, GPS as far as where people go and everywhere that you go, correct?
Correct.
You indicated that it works as a reliable, quote, unquote, tracking device, was your testimony.
Correct.
You indicated that you rely on it, quote, so you know where your kids are at all times. Is that right?
Correct.
And you even said that it's a, quote, unquote, good parenting tool. Is that right?
Correct.
And the reason you said that is because it's accurate in your experience and it's reliable. Is that right?
It's a good tool, but
no,
it
it's
is
not.
not always accurate.
But you said, when you testified in front of the great grand jury, that it's accurate and it works as a GPS as far as where you go and everywhere you go, correct?
Objection.
Did you say that?
Can I see it?
Sure.
Give me some time to think about an excuse as to why I said what I said, even though it doesn't make sense. She's looking at somebody. She is looking at somebody. Who is she looking at? Who is she looking at? So this is at 36 minutes and 20 seconds. I'm going to go back to the beginning to see who is there today. Let me just replay that a little bit. I'm going to see who she's looking at. Ah, okay. I see. Who's that guy? There's John O'Keefe. There's Googly Eyes Weirdo. I don't know who that is. That looks like... Who is that? Is that Julie Weeks? Is that her sister? Her bio sister? I don't know. I don't know who the fuck that is. She looks crazy. Let's see. All right, let's see. Who is that? Is that a Dougal? Who is that? Oh, is that the other O'Keefe brother? I'll have to look. But these bitches are talking. Look at them. They're like, pss, 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 pss. This is going to be so bad. It's going to be so bad today. These two are looking real sus back here. Scared as shit. I'm gonna find out and do a little video on that. Because they're looking very regretful. Who is that? Who's that? There's Sean O'Keefe's mom, Peggy. I don't know who that is. Is that Carrie Roberts back there? I can't see her. There's John O'Keefe's dad. Yeah. I feel really bad for these two. But at the same time, it's like, come on, you cannot believe this. What the prosecution is saying. No way. There's Karen's fam. I like her already. Look at y'all over there looking foolish. Is that Nick Rico? Rocco, sorry. One of those? Anyway, now I know. She's probably looking at her sister. Real quick before I get back to Unhinged McCabe, I pulled up the John O'Keefe GPS points where whoever's doing this poll, this data poll, is stating that John O'Keefe could have only been in the house for 3 seconds. Well, if anybody's ever watched a boxing match, how long does it take to KO the fuck out of somebody? Hey, Nico Jepcat. How long does it take, house long, to knock somebody out in a ring? Milliseconds, right? I mean, boom. How much do you need? There's a variant on GPS coordinates, depending on where you're at and what satellite is connecting, which, by the way, the reason why Jim McCabe was connected to the wrong dispatch area was because of the satellite. She was connected 3 times. 3 different times to get to the right place. One of those, the very first one, being in the wrong area. What I'm trying to get at is it's not very reliable in a sense of exact, right? But, however, there are different types of geofencing data that are. That's why Google is preferred. That's why Apple Health data is preferred. There are other means, especially if it's a device that, like health data, that actually covers like your heartbeat, your heart rate, things like that, how many steps you're taking. It's going to need to be more accurate than just random ass pings on your phone from cellular data, from Verizon or whatever. So of course there's going to be different variances depending on what it is that's capturing your location. I think everybody knows that. I really do. I'd hope so. So this is metadata, okay? And I think Tony and his crew are the ones that wrote a report. No, it was Guarino. I was right. Trooper Nicholas Guarino is the one that wrote the report on mapping John O'Keefe's location. So let's look at it. It's from Exaom. Catch locations. So they make excuses, by the way, about where he is and why he can only be in the house for 3 seconds because of these variants, which is bullshit. So the degree of accuracy were all between 4 to 5 meters, which is 12 to 15 feet. It's very ironic that 12 feet is what Jim McCabe stated. That's how far John O'Keefe was off from the road, from the curb. I don't think that's accurate. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's very accurate. It would look like 12 feet to me, but I could be wrong. So 12 to 15 feet is pretty big. I mean, that's a pretty big variance when it matters as to going inside of a house or not going inside of a house, and where's the jurisdiction on that. It is very crucial. So from the area where O'Keefe was found to the front door of 34 Fairview is approximately 72 feet. So from the area where O'Keefe was found, which was by the flagpole and the fire hydrant, is 72 feet to the front door. The only possible times, shown via O'Keefe's GPS data that he could have been inside 34 Fairview Road are the following. Oh my God. Let me zoom in on that. He could have been inside 34 Fairview. Could have, meaning it is not deniable. Isn't that what reasonable doubt is? So I think Guarino is coming on the stand. Hey, Brett, good to see you. So, could be. At 1225, the degree of accuracy is 108 feet. Yikes. Good Lord. Why are they starting at 1225 when it's alleged that she shows up between, 12, what was it? All the way from 1221 to 1230? Something like that? Why didn't you start at 1221? Or 1222 or 23? Interesting. So let's look at this. This was done on May 8, 2023. Oh, and Trooper Proctor and I. So Guarino and Proctor went to do these. Wow. How do we know for sure that the GPS, I'm sorry guys, that the GPS points from Exaom is accurate? You would need to do a second, set of eyes and experience to do this. I hope they did that. So, Poocher and Garino mapping these GPS points starting at 12:12. Location, waterfall, bar, and kin. We saw that John came out at 12:11, so that makes sense that he'd be there about 12:12 because they have to get in the car, warm it up, and all that shit. And at 12:25, jump. I'm sorry, I have a cough. Hold on, y'all. I'm getting over COVID, sorry. And pollen is everywhere. So 12:25 from 12:12 is what? 13 minutes? Yeah. The points were taken from the phones and given in latitude and longitude coordinates. The initial data points put John O'Keefe at the Waterfront Bar, located on 643 Washington Street. At 12:19, 7 minutes later, the phone's location is showing at the intersection of Dedham Street and Cedar Crest Road. Map time. Map time. We're going to look at that. I know it's been done already, but I like to do things from scratch because you never know when somebody else could be misdirecting you. I'd rather misdirect myself, thank you. So, Dedham Street, Canton. I think this is where the missing footage is very ironic to me. And what was the other one? And Cedar Crest Road. I believe, isn't Cedar Crest where one of the footage cameras were at? Can't remember. So 2 minutes. 2-minute drive. So they start off at 643 Washington Street. Again, there was a blizzard coming. It just started to snow. Right? Move that baby up to the front. So I'm guessing this is the second one. Nope, I'm wrong. Damn straight, 7 minutes. Boy, be slacking in the nursing department, right? No. So, I'm guessing they go straight up and take a left onto Dedham, take a left onto Cedar Crest, because there's Chapman. Okay. So at 12:19, showing at the intersection of Dedham and Cedar Crest. Right here. Okay. I have to break it down from the brain because I haven't done this yet on my own. So at 12:20, O'Keefe's phone searches the address of 34 Fairview Road on Waze because they got lost. They have never been there before. And remember, did Karen Reed get text directions or get called by Jim McCabe? No. John O'Keefe was calling and texting Jim McCabe for directions. And I'm assuming she finally got it out of him, or her, because the directions were not helping them. That's why John called her back at 12:18. Like, can you please just explain what's the fucking address, okay? Because I think Jim McCabe mentions that she said it's down the street from Bella's house, which is his ex-girlfriend, which I'm sure Karen was like, that bitch. Why you gotta mention her, right? It's just rude. It's just rude to do. So he answers that at 12:20. excuse me. Where did I lose it? The phone takes a left onto Oakdale Road from Maplecroft Road at 12:21 and then takes a right onto Cedar Crest at 12:22. The phone continues down Cedar Crest and then going by Fairview at 12:23:46. It then stops in the area of 51 Cedar Crest Road, reverses direction, and takes a right onto Fairview Road at 12:24. Okay, so we're going to do a new map. Just skip all the other fodder. Because I'm sure Karen was like, where the fuck am I going? They've been drinking. It is what it is. So she passes, I'm assuming passes 34 Fairview. Oh, she misses the turn to get onto Fairview from Cedar Crest. Got it. So she reverses. Where's 51? Okay, so she goes a little bit up. Whoopsie daisy. Needs to turn around. And then goes to Fairview. Got it. Are we following? Are we on the same page? So the phone finally stops in between 34 and 32 Fairview Road in the area of the flagpole, ironic, and fire hydrant at 12:24 a.m. Okay. 12:24. What did Jennifer McCabe say? Hello, are you here? When did she say that she saw Miss Karen pull up? It ain't no 12:24. I tell you that. It is not 12:24. All right, the phone finally stops by the flagpole and fire hydrant. The final point plotted was 12:25 when the phone stopped showing any movement until the morning of 6:15. Well, to their knowledge, anyway. Or what they're trying to portray, anyway. Because that's not really necessarily true. Trooper Proctor and I began measuring the approximate location from where O'Keefe's body was discovered. To do this, we used the dash cam video and the photos that were taken by Sergeant Good when they were searching in the snow. There's some coordinates here, The spot is believed to be within 1 meter of where, or 3 feet of where O'Keefe's body was. That's damn accurate. But down here you have 108 feet of accuracy, 200 feet. It gets really big for some reason. It really stretches from 3 feet of accuracy to like ridiculousness. How funny is that? But here it says the degree of accuracy were all between 4 to 5 meters. I don't see that. Don't see that. And it's only when it's in the area of the Fairview residences by 34 Fairview. How about that? Isn't that interesting? It's just me. You know? But I am no expert, so. I do know how many feet are, you know, I can at least measure it in my brain. This don't sound right. So here at 12:25, the degree of accuracy is 20 meters at the edge of 32 Fairview. So basically what they're trying to say is that the most accurate position near the front door is 52 feet at the edge of 32, front lawn of 34 Fairview, and edge of the front lawn of 31. So they're basically saying that between all of these different degrees of accuracies from the pings from the towers, basically, and the satellites, the only way he could be in that house is for 3 seconds tops. Hey, Mr. Eve, what's up? What you want? Yes, sir. How can I help you? Yes, the top teeth are popping in. Yes. What do you need, Mr. Eve? I'll look for my text. What I'm trying to get at, folks, is that this 4-meter range degree dictates there's only 3 seconds of availability for John O'Keefe to be in that house. Bullshit. Also of note is that O'Keefe's health data in Celebrite shows him ascending and descending 3 flights of stairs at 12:22 a.m. The native locations in Celebrite both show O'Keefe's phone location at the intersection of Oakdale and Pine, which is over half a mile away. You are going to get those random ping variants of like, it's ridiculous, it doesn't make any sense. It just happens that way because of the satellites. So I get that. His health data also recorded 36 steps at 12:31. In Celebrite, there are no GPS points at this time in Celebrite or Axiom that shows, and Axiom shows no movement of the phone. Okay, but like I said, you're going to take his health data and you're going to look at GPS points and say, that can't exist because the GPS says it doesn't exist. That can't be because this says it didn't happen. This report is crap, in my opinion. It's crap. Then they'll make it really fancy and do the report. Oh, Mr. E brought me something, y'all. Hold on. I'm going to rotate this page so you can see it. I'll just, here. Y'all can hang tight for just a second. It's not like I have an audience of 1,000 people waiting for me. Although I appreciate every single one of you, all 13 of you. Much love. Especially my girl Art and my mods. All right, Mr. Eve, I'm coming. 1 second. Oh, Mr. Eve got me lunch. That's so sweet. Thank you, Mr. Eve. He got me, what, a burger. If you don't know what that is down in Texas, it's the tits. That's what it is. All right. And I believe they also did Jennifer McCabe's some of her GPS data extractions. Can't remember exactly. I just know the feds damn sure did. So, bunch of malarkey, in my opinion. Let's get back on track here, and then I'm going to wrap it up so I can eat my lunch. I will be going live again, though, later.
The Alberts had a dog, pardon me, correct?
Yes.
What was the dog's name?
Chloe.
You indicated that on the morning of January 29th, after 6 a.m.,
Hey, girl.
it was still relatively dark out, you burst into the bedroom of Brian and Nicole Albert's home, correct?
Yes.
You did that specifically to wake up, according to you, Brian Albert and Nicole Albert, correct?
Yes.
Where was Chloe?
I don't know.
So you'll agree that, at least from their perspective, you walked in the front door unexpectedly, correct?
Yes.
You walked upstairs unexpectedly, correct?
Yes.
Still dark outside, right?
Yes.
You walked through their door, and you said you burst into the door into a dark room where they were sleeping, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Albert said that you were somewhat hysterical. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
You were loud, right?
I was trying to wake them up.
You were somewhat chaotic.
Yes.
And you don't remember a 70-pound German Shepherd having any reaction.
No.
I'm going to end on that note so I can eat and everything. And I'll be, again, I will be live later. But great point. This aggressive ass dog who bit 2 humans and another dog 4 months after John O'Keefe died on Brian Albert's lawn. Damn. Why is she so aggressive, especially back to back like that? But did not bark or make a peep to anybody or to anything that was going on outside of that house with the firefighter engines, the ambulance, the cops, all of the lights, nothing. And I'm pretty sure I heard Chloe sleeps with Brian and Nicole, so where was Chloe? They're getting nailed by the defense, by the way, in my opinion. And if you disagree, I get it. You're a very small minority who believes that. But it's not looking good. So what is the defense the prosecution gonna do? I don't see them going up from here. I really don't. What do you guys think? Let me know what you think about the coverage and what I have pinpointed on based on Jen McCabe's testimony. All right, guys, I'm going to go eat. I love you so much. Thank you for watching. Free Karen Reed. You never know if it really is a cover-up. It's looking that way. Y'all take care. Have a good one. Bye.
Gone somewhere and dyed my hair now. Wanna be alone. It's much to bear and you don't care, and I won't play alone. I got you in my sight. I keep all the words you said to me. I get you on your knees. Rewrite all the things you said that I should be. I'll get you now you're back.